You can rely on alumni. Jinger Duggar Vuolo has returned with a new podcast video in the midst of her journey through pregnancy with Jeremy in question. Both of them have been relishing the impending arrival of their third child. They were concerned that their children may tell other members of the family about it, so they made the decision to keep it a secret for the time being, especially from their children. Nevertheless, Jinger's most recent video blog entry contains a terrifying account in which she describes a traumatic experience that she had after giving birth. Counting on, Jinger Duggar's due date is coming soon. According to Jinger, she is planning to become a mother for the third time in March of 2025. On the other hand, she and Jeremy are going to throw a gender reveal party before the big day, and a lot of people who watch Counting On are already making guesses about the baby's gender. Jinger disclosed in one of her most recent video blogs that only a select few members of her family are aware of the gender of her unborn child. It was Jessa, who was the first person to pick up the results of her testing in Arkansas, who is one of the individuals in question. Jinger becomes the second member of the Duggar family to become pregnant today, following in the footsteps of Katie, who is expecting twin girls with Jed. Jinger recounts her horrifying experience relating to her first child. Jinger has just lately posted a podcast that details a harrowing experience that occurred during the time that she gave birth to Felicity. She had a horrible medical experience immediately after giving birth to her first kid, as stated by the former star of the television show, Counting On. After the birth of Felicity, she stated that she was already doing quite well from the beginning. On the other hand, she was only given one dose of the medication, which she could no longer recall, and it caused her a great deal of discomfort. She continued by saying, "They gave me some serious drug that was as hard as I was going to say it was. It was not good." She went on to describe that she was trembling in the car while they were driving back to their houses, and that she was experiencing a terrible feeling. Jinger Duggar Vuolo made the decision that she would no longer take any medications after the birth of her child as a result of this. In addition, she stated, "And to this day, I have no idea what the medication was that they administered to me, but I will never allow them to do that again. As soon as I leave the hospital, I find myself saying, 'I'm fine. I feel terrific. Please do not administer any medication to me. If it is necessary, I will take care of myself.'" If Jinger Duggar documents her growing family on television, we can expect to see it. As part of her Instagram Stories question and answer session, Jinger Duggar Vuolo also discussed the prospect of her family making a return to reality television. The former cast member of Counting On claims that she was raised in front of the camera and that she experienced the presence of a film crew on a daily basis as if it were nothing out of the ordinary. Nevertheless, it was something that she did not want her children to go through in this day and age. On the other hand, it would appear that she is not denying herself options of this kind by stating, "I don't know." Jinger Duggar, former star of the reality TV show Counting On, has always been known for her down-to-earth personality and faith-driven approach to life. As the daughter of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, parents of 19 children, Jinger was thrust into the public eye at a young age. Yet, despite growing up in a large conservative family, Jinger's journey into adulthood has been uniquely her own. One of the most defining aspects of her life has been her decision to leave behind the strict upbringing of the Duggar family and carve out a more independent path alongside her husband, Jeremy Vuolo. When Jinger and Jeremy welcomed their first daughter, Felicity, into the world in 2018, they experienced the joys and challenges that come with the early days of parenting. However, it was Jinger's second childbirth experience, following the birth of their second daughter, Evangeline Jo, in 2022, that would lead her to share a terrifying and raw personal story. While the Duggar family is no stranger to public scrutiny, it's not often that they delve deeply into their private lives, especially regarding the physical and emotional struggles that accompany major life events like childbirth. But Jinger's willingness to be open about her experience after Evangeline's birth is a testament to her growth as both a woman and a mother. It's a narrative that many women can relate to, one that involves unexpected complications, fear, and the vulnerability that comes with bringing new life into the world. The strain of childbirth. Jinger had always been open about her love for motherhood. She and Jeremy had spoken about their excitement to grow their family, and when they announced they were expecting baby number 2, fans and family alike eagerly awaited the arrival of their second little girl. In many ways, Jinger's second pregnancy seemed to follow the usual path. It wasn't until she gave birth to Evangeline Jo that things took a sharp turn into the unexpected. The birth itself went smoothly, with no complications during labor. Jinger was able to have a relatively peaceful delivery at a hospital, surrounded by her supportive husband and medical team. However, shortly after giving birth, the calm that followed the initial joy of bringing their daughter into the world quickly turned into something far more frightening. As the hours passed, Jinger started to experience symptoms that were anything but typical. She began to feel lightheaded and weak. At first, she chalked it up to the usual exhaustion that often follows childbirth, but when her symptoms worsened, she realized something was wrong. "I had no idea what was happening to my body," Jinger later shared in an emotional Instagram post. "I thought I was just tired and maybe just overwhelmed with everything, but it became clear that I was in trouble." It was soon discovered that Jinger had developed a rare and dangerous complication known as postpartum hemorrhage, a condition in which a woman experiences excessive bleeding after childbirth. Postpartum hemorrhage can occur for a variety of reasons, including uterine tears, retained placenta, or clotting issues. And in Jinger's case, it was a combination of these factors that led to the emergency situation. The bleeding was severe, and doctors rushed to stabilize her. Jinger had to be given multiple blood transfusions as her body struggled to regain balance. At one point, she was so weak that she couldn't even hold her newborn daughter, Evangeline, without feeling like she might faint. For Jinger, the experience was terrifying not only because of the life-threatening nature of her condition, but also because of the immense physical toll it took on her body. "I remember just staring at my baby and praying that I would get through this," she said, her voice trembling as she recounted the moment. "I wanted to be strong for my family, but I was so scared. I didn't know if I would be able to be the mom that I wanted to be for her." Navigating the trauma, Jinger's terrifying experience didn't end with the physical recovery. Like many women who go through complications after childbirth, the emotional aftermath was difficult to process. The trauma of nearly losing her life left an indelible mark on her, and it took time for her to find her footing again. "I didn't expect to have to face such a major health crisis after childbirth. It was a lot to process, and I still find myself thinking about it sometimes," Jinger admitted. "I've always been a strong believer in God, and during that time, I leaned on my faith more than ever. It was the only thing that gave me peace during such a chaotic time." Though she had a strong support system in her husband, Jeremy, and her family, the emotional toll on Jinger was undeniable. She found herself grappling with feelings of guilt and inadequacy. "I wanted to be present for my family, but my body was telling me to rest, and it was hard to reconcile those two things," she explained. Jinger's openness about the emotional and psychological impact of her experience is important, especially in a culture that often idealizes the notion of bouncing back after childbirth. In reality, the recovery process is anything but simple, and it can take a significant toll on a woman's mental health. Jinger's willingness to acknowledge her vulnerability speaks to a larger conversation about the pressures women face when it comes to motherhood, recovery, and self-care. "I think it's so important to be kind to yourself after giving birth," Jinger shared. "It's okay to not be okay right away. It's okay to need help, and it's okay to feel scared. We don't talk enough about how hard it can be, and I want women to know that they're not alone." A new perspective on motherhood. Though Jinger's experience was harrowing, it also gave her a new perspective on motherhood and life in general. She realized just how precious each day is, and how easily things can change in an instant. Her experience made her appreciate her family even more, and she often speaks about the joy she finds in the little moments with her children. "Sometimes the smallest moments are the ones that mean the most," Jinger reflected, "like when Evangeline smiles at me or when Felicity comes running to give me a hug. Those moments make everything worth it." In the aftermath of her terrifying experience, Jinger has become more vocal about advocating for women's health and mental well-being, particularly in the context of childbirth. She has used her platform to educate her followers about the importance of seeking help if something doesn't feel right, and the importance of prioritizing one's health. "I didn't know about postpartum hemorrhage before this experience," she admitted. "Now, I want to make sure other women are aware of the signs and symptoms, and that they're encouraged to ask questions and speak up if they feel something isn't right." Jinger's openness about her experience has resonated with many women who have faced similar struggles. For some, hearing her story has helped normalize their own feelings of fear and uncertainty during their postpartum period. By sharing the vulnerable moments of her journey, Jinger has built a sense of connection with others that transcends the public persona she once embodied. A family's strength. Jinger's journey through this traumatic experience has also highlighted the strength of her family, especially her husband, Jeremy. Throughout the ordeal, Jeremy was by her side every step of the way, offering emotional support and helping to navigate the uncertainty that came with her condition. "I couldn't have made it through without him," Jinger said. "Jeremy was my rock. He was there for me in ways I can't even describe, and I'm so grateful for him." In many ways, the experience has strengthened their relationship. They have grown closer as a couple, finding new depths of empathy and understanding. Jinger frequently expresses her gratitude for the way Jeremy has supported her, both during her recovery and beyond. "Jeremy has always been so caring, but this experience made me realize just how much he is willing to do for our family," she said. "I think we both gained a new appreciation for each other." Looking ahead. As Jinger continues to recover from her traumatic experience, she's also focused on the future both for herself and her family. She has expressed interest in doing more to raise awareness about women's health, particularly in the context of childbirth. Through her social media platforms, Jinger has encouraged her followers to speak up about their health concerns, share their stories, and support one another. "I don't want to be silent about my experience," Jinger stated. "If sharing my story helps even one woman feel less alone or encourages them to take their health seriously, then it's worth it." Jinger Duggar's terrifying experience after childbirth has been a defining moment in her life, but it is one she has navigated with courage, resilience, and the unwavering support of her family. Her journey has not only transformed her as a mother and a woman, but also as an advocate for women's health. Through her vulnerability, Jinger has shown that it's okay to not have everything figured out and that strength can be found in even the most difficult of circumstances. As she looks toward the future, Jinger remains focused on her family, her faith, and the importance of mental and physical well-being. Though her experience was filled with fear and uncertainty, it has ultimately led her to a place of healing, growth, and understanding. In sharing her story, Jinger Duggar has reminded us all that, while the path of motherhood may not always be easy, it is one that is full of love, learning, and above all, the strength to keep going, no matter the challenges ahead.